Welcome to the home of Bernard Matthews, the biggest turkey producer in the world. You know when you've arrived in this part of Norfolk by the stench of turkey excreta that fills the air, from shed after shed after shed. How many birds are in each one is anybody's guess. It could be 15,000 or 25,000, but either way, this is the only world these animals will ever know. The flooring is accumulated excreta and won't be changed during their lifetime, which might be as short as 12 weeks or as long as 26, depending on the size of the bird. Leg problems are commonplace, and some birds are unable to reach food and water and so starve to death. The fetid, cloying, dusty atmosphere is overpowering, but the birds have no escape. Look inside almost any modern turkey shed and you'll see the same problems over and over again. Death rates can be as high as 15%, and the losses are simply built into the economics of the industry. From an animal welfare perspective, intensive farming is a disaster, despite all the industry's claims of high standards. There is no escape from conditions like these. The scalding ammonia released in these saturated conditions can cause terrible burns to feet, legs and breasts. No, there's no escape, just the slaughterhouse. Overcrowding is common, but for these juveniles it is extreme. The result is constant aggression, feather pulling and cannibalism. Rather than reduce the stocking densities to solve the problem, producers amputate part of the upper section of beak. It is painful, done without anaesthetic, and may result in lifelong pain. It does nothing to remove the awful stress that makes birds want to cannibalise each other. Another farm, but a similar story. Overcrowded, highly stressed juveniles who have no outlet but pecking each other. Just the tip of the upper beak is supposed to be removed. Sadly, for many of the birds in this shed, it is barbaric, uncaring, total amputation. Premium-priced bronze turkeys. Maybe the stocking density is less, but this is a world away from any children's farmyard picture book. Even though this place is supposedly environmentally enriched, with a straw bale, the results are not that different. These are also premium-priced bronze turkeys. Because they have access to a paddock, they're labelled free range, but they spend most of their life in here. They belong to Kerry Foods, another huge company which owns Home Pride and a string of other big organisations. We saw serious problems everywhere we looked. The night vision on this camera kills the colour, but this bird's bones are exposed through the gaping holes in its flesh. You can actually see the pus dripping from this abscessed hole. Our investigators found dead and injured birds everywhere. In the few minutes we were inside the shed, we saw at least 40 birds that should have been put out of their misery. How many there were in total, we don't know. They are supposed to be inspected individually every day. And so the story goes on. Whatever it says on the wrapper about being farm fresh or welfare friendly, what's shown here is the way most turkeys are reared. Although DEFRA, the ministry responsible, claims that only 10% of birds are debeaked, our investigators discovered a far higher proportion than that. Producers are also allowed to amputate the bird's snood, that strange piece of flesh that dangles from their heads. Their wild ancestors can live for up to 10 years and can fly at 50 miles an hour. Many modern turkeys can barely walk. In these crowded conditions, diseases are rife, and so is the use of antibiotics, pesticides, other drugs, and a barrage of chemicals. They are central to turkey and chicken production. In this, the last farm visited, there is some fresh air and dry straw, and the stocking density is less, but many of the problems are the same. Turkey producers have taken a beautiful wild bird and turned it into a diseased and dejected travesty of itself. They sell its meat by claiming they care about its welfare. We leave you to be the judge.